All right, so good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our October 1st PTO meeting of the 2022-23 school year. We have a pretty robust agenda that has a lot of great information. A lot of different people will be participating. Just as a reminder, again, if you are participating, if you can just unmute yourself before you actually start. And if you have a question about any of the topics we're covering, you can either just jump in or use the raise your hand feature, and we'll try to make sure that we get to you during today's meeting. Again, we always plan for an hour. We won't go over. I think our agenda will fill just about an hour, but again, we will not go over. So our first item is Jan Scott is our PTO president. Jen has been doing a great job in her new role. She was really excited about taking this on last year. And she is going to share some PTO updates for you. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to her either electronically or during this meeting. So Jan, it's all yours.
Welcome to our first PTO meeting of the new school year. I'm glad to see so many people on the Zoom today, and it was great to see you all at the back to school night. The table at the bridge was always busy with parents, which was great to see. I'm pleased to share that we have over 170 families who've joined our PTO this year. Our goal was really 100 families, and last year we had 50. So we're really excited about the number of families who want to participate in PTO. Thank you for that. As you can see from the agenda, we have several great topics and speakers on the agenda today. We find that having our meetings during the day allows us to bring in staff and students and share information that parents would like to hear. But we're always open to suggestions. So if you have any topics or programming that you would like to see on our agenda, please don't hesitate to email us at danielhandpto@gmail.com, and we will try to get those on the agenda. Thanks, TJ.
Great, Jen. Thanks for the updates. And I think just to reiterate, if you have any topics you're interested in us talking about, you can reach out to Jan or me, and we'll see if we can put some type of presentation together. And we're going to move on to our second agenda item. And this one's backed by popular demand. Night in Hand was fantastic last year. It was really special to have Night in Hand return to what it was pre-COVID. And Beth O'Keefe, Lisa Rana have done incredible work, and it's only October, but Night in Hand work, if it hasn't started already, we're probably a little bit behind. So Beth is going to take a few minutes to talk about what Night in Hand entails and hopefully recruit some volunteers. Beth, is Lisa on with you today? Unmute yourself, please, and thank you. You're still muted.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry.
No problem.
Lisa couldn't be here today. I'm sorry. So it's just me, but
No problem.
we are really excited to launch Night in Hand this year. Again, we had a huge success last year, bringing it back to its pre-COVID overnight. We had like great participation. We had almost 100% of the class, which is really amazing. So we're looking for the same kind of support. We're looking for the same kind of enthusiasm. In order to make that happen, though, we do need volunteers. We have sent out an initial sign of genius. In order to get Night in Hand moving in the direction that we needed to, we need to fill chair positions first. We're looking to see if there's a senior parent out there who would really like to spearhead this with the support of Lisa and I. We really believe that it should be a senior parent because it is your party. You really do have a base of support. You've moved your kids through the Madison school system for the last 12 years. This really should be like the culminating event for you. And you really want to have a say in like how the entertainment and the theme and, how the overall, night goes. And Lisa and I are kind of really on the same page about really trying to instill that we really do need senior parents behind these events or behind this event to really make it happen. So if you go to the Daniel Hand webpage, there is a sign of genius. There is an explanation of what Night in Hand is. We are in our 35th year of providing this safe, fun and secure substance-free night for kids, which, again, as a parent in the community is really valuable. It's a really valuable event. It really carries a lot of meaning in the tradition of Madison. So we're inviting you to attend our second organizational meeting. It's October 11th. It's Tuesday at 6:30 in the library, the Scranton Library in town. We're also offering a Zoom link. We're going to send out a reminder. Hopefully it'll be received either Monday or Tuesday morning so that, you can put it on your calendar. We encourage you to bring a friend. It's kind of funny, Lisa and I never knew each other before we met at a Night in Hand meeting, and we have created a really great friendship. We work really well together, and the same can be true for you. Like, bring a friend, meet a friend, and really help us build this base of Night in Hand so that we can have really successful night and give these kids a celebration that they deserve at the end of this. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at we have a Gmail address, nightinhand@gmail.com. If you have any questions, we can talk to you about what it means to be a chair. Again, too, we can, we're really willing to hold your hand and, get this going, because it's not, it's an extraordinary event that you really want to be a part of. And, the memories that you're going to take away and the memories that we're going to create for these kids are really what make this event as spectacular as it is. So if you could spread the word, like PTO, through your booster programs, if you're part of like music or a sport team, we could really bring this community together and really celebrate this event. So hopefully we'll see you on October 11th at the library, either in person or Zoom, to make this night really happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Does anyone have any questions that they would like answered about Night in Hand right now from Beth while we have her on our Zoom?
No.
All right. I will say 35 years is incredible. If you have never seen Night in Hand, it's a really spectacular event. And just worth noting is it's not a school event. The students are graduates at that point. We have the senior classes graduation already set for June 16th, which is a Friday. Perfect night for Night in Hand. So the people who have taken this charge on over the years have really done a lot of special work. We definitely will need volunteers for it to continue. And Beth and Lisa are great supports to help this tradition continue. And it's great for kids. So we really appreciate it, Beth. And not that I'm looking forward to June already, but it will be an exciting event because
Yes.
It's a special way to end the school year for sure. And it's a great way to keep our kids safe the evening of graduation. All right, Beth, you're welcome to stay on the Zoom, but if you have to go because of other responsibilities, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so our next agenda item, we thought because we're back in full session since COVID, it's been a fantastic start to the school year. We thought we would start to see more visitors to Daniel Hand, which we have been seeing. A lot of parents, guardians are coming in. As everyone recalls, during the peak of the pandemic, we didn't even have students in the building. And then once students returned, no visitors were allowed, just for safety regarding transmission of germs. But we're fully open at this point, and we have some incredible school security personnel as well as an incredible school resource officer. We thought we'd just do some introductions quickly so you can put a name to a face and also have an idea of just what it takes to get access to our building now. Obviously, school security is a high priority. We spend a lot of time with our security measures, which we don't share openly for a lot of reasons. But we wanted to spend a few minutes just to introduce our 3 security personnel and our school resource officer. Unfortunately, one of our security personnel, his name's Bob Faulkner, had a loss in his family yesterday morning, so he's out the rest of the week. So he's unable to attend, obviously. We're definitely sending support his way, but we have our 2 security personnel who are on one screen together. They're listed under Jamie Del Moro and John Pardo. If you want to wave and unmute Jamie and John, that was a good wave. And if you want to do a quick little intro, and I know Officer O'Neill, I did. let
He's
you-
here.
Yeah, he's actually behind us.
There, there's
Yeah,
Ted.
Get in the screen, Officer O'Neill. We got to see you.
Alright.
So our
How
school
are you?
resource officer that we share on campus, which means obviously spends a lot of time at Hand, Polson, and at Jeffrey, has been here for a few years now, has been an tremendous addition. But they're seated at our new security desk that's at the front main entrance. So if you are coming to Hand, either if we know you're coming or not, there's a system to actually get in our building so we know who is in the building at any given moment. So Jamie, John, and Officer O'Neill are going to share just a little bit about that detail so you can know what to expect if you're visiting Hand.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I'm Jamie Del Moro. I've worked here since April of 2018. I retired from City of Middletown as a police lieutenant, and I still work there part-time. I guess that's it, and then I'll go over the other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Jonathan Pardo, I was here before in 2014 and 15, and I was lucky enough to be able to come back last January. I retired from the Madison Police Department as a captain in 2010.
Bob O'Neill, retired up from West Haven after 25 years, and I came over to Madison. I've been in the schools now for 2 years, and that's where we are right now.
All right, I guess what people can expect when they come in, now that we're sitting up here at the security desk, we have a doorbell system that has a camera, and we can see who comes and rings our doorbell. We will ask you, we'll introduce ourselves, well, we'll say good morning, and we'll ask you what you're here for. Generally, if you're dropping something off your student, we'll have you leave it outside in the bin. If there's any business that requires you to come in the building, we'll have you come in, we'll have you sign into our Raptor system, we'll ask for your photo identification, we'll scan it, and we'll give you a little sticker to wear that identifies you as you travel wherever you're going in the building, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
mainly it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about the bin. If it's electronics or food, then we usually take it inside. If it's something like a backpack or a sweatshirt or something like that, then we ask you to put it in the bin. So if you have food, don't be afraid to tell us that it's food, and we'll bring it in.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Mr. Salvatore, I don't know if you want us to.
No, it's great. I appreciate it. And I would say the placement of the security desk through the main entrance, a lot of contact with students, and I've seen really positive interactions, which has been outstanding. Just one thing with the Raptor system and the photo ID, the Raptor system actually checks our visitors' background. And if there's a criminal history or a reason that a person should not be allowed in a public school with students and teachers, they're not allowed in the building. So it's a really secure system. And again, safety of our entire school community is certainly a priority. And we're lucky to have such quality school security as well as a great SRO that make great relationships with all of our students and staff, but also keep our building safe. And you'll see Officer O'Neill all over the place because he moves around at kind of random times to make sure the other campuses are safe as well. But we're certainly open for business and are interested in visitors in the building, but we just want to make sure we know who's in the building at any given time. And this new approach to accepting and then welcoming visitors has really been outstanding, and the technology is excellent, but the personnel is far better than that. So we just wanted to do a quick introduction. Again, you don't have to have an appointment to come to Hand, and it's a pretty simple process to get in, and it's been nice to actually have members of families in our building over the start of the school year. So Jamie, John, Officer O'Neill, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you at the front desk and throughout the building.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next agenda item, we have I guess still new, Mr. Farrell, our new athletic director, started officially in July 1st. We hired him late in the spring last year, and I think he started working even before he was officially hired, just as part of the transition into a really high quality athletics program with programs that are pretty incredible based on the number of offerings. He has been a breath of fresh air as an addition to our school district. He works at not only Polson, but also with Daniel Hand Athletics. He spoke at the beginning of our back to school night and as a welcome, but not every single parent who's on the actual Zoom today may have been at that event. So we were going to give Mr. Farrell just a few minutes not only as an introduction, but to share some of his perceptions of being the Daniel Hand and the Madison Public Schools Athletic Director, and then reach out regarding any communication questions and concerns you may have, with which he has done a great job really inviting input from our school community. So Mr. Farrell, I want to commend you on your transition into Daniel Hand and the Madison Public Schools, and give you a few minutes to introduce yourself to our PTO.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So happy to, I'm here this morning just to, kind of introduce myself. I don't want to take everyone's time too much. I know that I did see some familiar faces at back to school night, and I've already met some of you already, but just a little bit about me. I came from Plainville Public Schools. I was there for almost 20 years. It was somewhere I really grew up. I got into education as a teacher right out of college. I served many various roles there in that district. I got into administration almost about 10 years ago. About 7 years of athletic director experience in my previous district. When this job became available, I was extremely excited and couldn't believe that this job came about. This is the best athletic program in the state. I'm very fortunate to be the athletic director here. And when this all happened, last year, it was probably about a 3-month process. I was very impressed with just the process of the interviews and how in depth it was. I felt like I knew a lot of people in Madison before I even was hired, which was excellent, just because they were very thorough in their search. And it says, a lot of great things about, Madison, their athletic program, and then obviously our admin team here at Daniel Hand, and then also over at Polson. As Mr. Salutary said, the transition, that word, if I don't have to use that anymore, starting next month, I'd be very happy, just because obviously it's been a whirlwind. I can't believe it's already October. We've been, really evaluating everything top to bottom in our athletic program, from the middle school to the high school, how we do things, why we do things. And I'm not a big believer that you have to change everything, but sometimes change is good. And sometimes that we can do things more effectively and more efficiently. And that's what we've been really trying to focus on. Very fortunate. The coaching staff is phenomenal here, from top to bottom. We have, just dedicated, adults that really put the time in to make our student athletes better. And I've said it to many people. A lot of people have asked, what's the biggest difference, from going from one school district to the next, and somewhere where I spend a lot of time. And, the student athletes are just unbelievable here. When I walk around campus at the end of the day and go to practices, I'm not hearing coaches complain about effort. I'm not hearing coaches, getting on student athletes because they're not working hard enough or they're not understanding something. Our student athletes are just phenomenal, and they're working extremely hard. And the best part of that is that when I'm walking around the hallways during the school day, they're doing the same exact thing. And the teachers are saying the same things about them in the classroom. So, it's just been, an awesome time. Like I said, the transition has been kind of a whirlwind, but, very excited. We're, a lot of people are very excited. And I think Mr. Secretary said it perfect as well. It's been a breath of fresh air for everyone. I think just, getting a new, fresh voice, someone in there to kind of have different eyes on things has been phenomenal. My staff, of 3 with the athletic trainer, Mike Saja is our equipment manager, and then Robin Halloran is my assistant. They've been phenomenal. Kind of the way I do things has been a little bit different, and not saying different in a bad way, but just, we look at things in a different lens, and they've been just great stepping up and doing everything that we need to do to make sure that we're running an athletic program on a daily basis. I was very fortunate this summer to welcome parents into my office. We did office hours for about 2.5 weeks. I met with many different parents. It was awesome to see their perception and their point of view on things. And I got to meet so many, great people that have such deep roots here in Madison, which was awesome. And you'll see from me throughout the years, I'm always going to look for student voice. I'm always going to look for coaching voice, and I'm always going to look for the parents and the community voice. It's very important when we make decisions and we are trying to, build an even better and more elite athletic program here in Madison, that we get those stakeholders voice, and I'll always be that. That doesn't mean that all my decisions will be very popular, and I understand that. Anytime you're an administrator, not every decision is the best, in everyone's eyes, but every decision that we will make here is in the best interest of our student athletes and their experience in their athletic program. So, I'm very happy, and it was awesome to meet most of you, or some of you, this summer ahead of, getting the students back. I think some of you have also noticed, just kind of our social media presence has changed a little bit. That's something that I get to use as kind of a stress reliever sometimes. We don't have a social media department yet, but we will be working towards, bringing in some of our students that are interested in that in the future into the, maybe that's something they plan to go to college for. They're very interested in, we can mix marketing in with that as well. but we'll be building in some interns, student interns, so they'll have more of a say in what goes on social media. But that's something that I've really been doing, all by myself. It's something that I know that is very important to our student athletes. Just meeting with the captains and the leaders within our athletic program. It's something that they see and they love, to see a different presence on social media, which has been phenomenal. And then obviously sending out schedules and that kind of piece. I've gotten a lot of feedback from, just seeing what's going on a weekly basis. A lot of parents have been shocked, like they couldn't believe how many events actually go on in 1 week due to the fact that, their son or daughter might be playing one specific sport or might only have 1 or 2 games, but there's upwards of, 30, athletic contests sometimes in 1 week. So I think that, that's been awesome for the, community to see. And then obviously our student athletes and getting them and the rest of our student body, getting them out to support our students here in Madison. You will start seeing more branding. We're really trying to focus on that. We'll start a committee to really focus in on, the paw will never leave Madison. It's something that everyone knows. Told the story the other day. I was at getting coffee, on the other side of the state 2 weeks ago. I was visiting a friend. I had my Madison hat on, and someone said like, "Oh, you're a Tiger." And I was just taken back at first because I didn't realize, that someone would recognize just the paw on my hat, which was awesome. But, the biggest thing about branding is making sure that everyone understands, everyone knows that paw, but we need to have one, specific tiger. I know right now we have about 5 or 6 different tigers, and, just really hone in on, what it is to be a tiger and focus on that. But we will have a committee that'll be working on that over the next year. The next big step for us, and this aligns, very closely with the PTO, is getting a better feel of how our boosters club runs. Each individual team has their boosters club. We're going to have one big boosters club meeting, kind of really deep dive into the policies and procedures that are in place in the handbook. Some of them are outdated. Some of them need to be, looked at and analyzed. And that's, the next part. It's something that we didn't start this summer because that's not something we needed to get up and get going for the beginning of the athletic season in August. But it's something that now we'll start really taking a look at with, all of our representatives from every single boosters club. Our head coaches will be involved in that. And we'll really take a look at how we're doing things to support our student athletes on the financial aspect from boosters club. And, having things like, a shared fundraiser list so that, we put it on our website so anyone in town can go and click on it. And we know, oh, well, the girls basketball team is doing a car wash on Sunday. We probably shouldn't be doing another car wash the day before or, the week after. So there's going to be, and I know that was just a minor example, but there's going to be some things that we do, to try to, make sure that we are very transparent. And then on top of it, we align with everyone else because we have a lot of groups that are supporting our students here in Madison. And we want to make sure that we can make it more efficient and more effective so that we're able to, do what we need to do for our students here in Madison. So I appreciate everyone's time. Please, I know email is the best way of getting a hold of me. I got my emails down to right now. I'm looking at it. 10 came in as I just spoke. I got it down to about 120, which is good. It was at like 375 last week. Some of the assistant principals are laughing right now because we were joking about it last week. But it's something that I'm trying to play catch up every single day with. It will get better. I keep telling myself, by the middle of October, I should be 100% caught up in communication and getting back to everyone. But, the emails have been coming in, which I appreciate. I know that, we are trying to address every single concern, that we are getting, but we will continue to keep doing that. But I do appreciate your time this morning and look forward to seeing everyone at different events around Madison.
Thank you, Chris. And I do see Tina has a hand raised. Is that Tina, you want to jump in?
Yeah, sorry, just a quick
No,
question
don't be
for
sorry.
Chris.
Thanks.
You had mentioned the booster meeting. Do you have a date for that?
We're hoping to do it at the end of October, right? Like a Wednesday or Thursday. We're ironing that right out now with coaches. I'll be sending it out. Is there a date you have in mind that you might be better?
Nope, just wanted to get it on the schedule.
Planning, love it. It's going to probably be a Wednesday or Thursday. We're thinking the 3rd or last week of October.
Are we thinking during school or after?
After school, probably about 5
Okay.
or 6. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Tina. Any other questions for Mr. Farrell? I don't see any. Chris, great job. And I'll do a couple of plugs outside of Chris's great work. Our athletic programs are, really full swing right now. We've had a lot of attendees at events, which we really appreciate. It would be nice, and Chris has been working on this. We're trying to get bigger fan sections at some of the events that typically didn't have a lot of fans. And it's nice to see, like, for example, I went to a girls volleyball game the other night and the bleachers were filled. That wasn't always the case. Like, if you have a little extra time in your lives and you want to help support our athletic program, or if you could encourage your kids to attend, it would be excellent. You know, we're really trying to push that piece because our students like to perform, just like in band or chorus or spring play, in front of their peers. And the only other plug, if you could just remind your children, your students, that we have high expectations regarding behavior when they're in a student section. They've been outstanding this year. There's no reason for my statement other than just reminders, but you'll see us at big events, like all of the administration. We're pretty much part of the student section to kind of encourage and remind that positive energy, which has been excellent. So, you know, again, there's no restrictions because of COVID. We love having a lot of fans, and I know our student athletes, as well as our student performers in the fine arts, really appreciate, you know, when there's people in attendance. And that's something that's exciting that we missed during the COVID times. So Mr. Farrell, great work, really appreciate it. And to be continued for sure. And, you know, we got to get on work on that email list. That's pretty long. All right, so we have a next agenda topic. And if you heard the bell in the background, we are going to have announcements in a moment. It probably won't be disruptive. If it is, we might have to take a pause for a moment because two of our seniors do our morning announcements. But we are going to transition to a new position that we created last year, but we've been talking about it for years. You know, a lot of really high quality high schools have a college and career counselor to help our students as they transition over their 4 years with some direction based on their specific interests. And Chrissy Coyle has been a school counselor at Daniel Hand since before my time, and this is my 10th year at Hand, and she's been outstanding. She has been talking to me for years about the ability, and that's not made up at all, for years, about can we transition one of the school counselors into a college and career counselor? We actually were able to make that transition officially for this year, and Chrissy Coyle is participating in today's Zoom to give our school community somewhat of a prelude of what this position and the benefits to our students actually is going to entail. So Chrissy is going to spend a few minutes talking about that. I envision having her as a somewhat regular PTO meeting attendee. I didn't tell her that until now. So Chrissy, you'll be invited a lot to share the new work of this position, but she's going to take a few minutes to talk about what she's doing in her new role and then what she's hoping to do as we move forward. So Chrissy, thanks for your time this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chrissy Coyle, and as TJ said, I've been around for quite a few years now as a school counselor, and I'm really excited to take on this new role as college and career counselor. During my time as a school counselor, I was always really excited to be working with kids on developing their post-secondary plans. It's always been an area that I've been particularly passionate about. So I'm really excited to be focusing all of my energy in this direction in my new role at Daniel Hand. One of the big things that's going to be happening on the first floor is an update to our College and Career Center. If you have seen our current center, it's certainly functional, but not necessarily the most inviting space. So we are going to be making a little bit of a transformation down there. We're expecting a delivery of some new furniture in the coming weeks, and the hope is that we'll be able to create a really welcoming, casual, and collaborative workspace for the students. This year is really a transitional year because this is a new position at Daniel Hand. This year is going to involve a lot of planning and preparation in order to build the college and career counseling program really from the ground up. So in anticipation of that, as TJ said, this has been something we've been kind of working on for quite a few years. I've been collaborating with some of those college and career counselors that have established programs in other districts just to find out what's working in their schools and to get some ideas on what we can offer to our students. But one major really important factor in my planning is that I always want to focus on what the student needs and interests are and build the programming around that. So to that end, I sent a survey out to seniors earlier this year to get information from them about what they feel they might need the most assistance with and what types of activities they might be interested in participating in this year. This information has been super helpful and will definitely continue to be useful as I'm planning different opportunities through the year. And I anticipate that I'll be surveying underclassmen as well to hear their thoughts as I start my work with them in the coming weeks and months. So far this year, this fall, the big emphasis has been focusing on the seniors and helping them with their college applications. Just some little things specifically over the last week, I've held open sessions in the Career Center for kids to just stop by with any questions they have or to use the time to work on applications. Later this week, I'll be holding sessions for any seniors who are interested in developing a resume and need some help on that. And then in the coming weeks, I anticipate I'll be working more one-on-one with seniors who are less certain about their post-secondary plans or just maybe looking for some options that aren't necessarily a four-year college option. But once those seniors are pretty well settled this fall, I'll definitely turn my focus towards the underclassmen because the goal is really to meet with the students in all grade levels at some point in the school year to do some type of post-secondary planning or career exploration activity. One of my major objectives this year and really over the next few years is to develop some partnerships with businesses from a variety of different industries. So the goal here is to connect students in some capacity to professionals in career fields of interest. And some of the things I intend to offer to students at some point in the future would be guest speakers, so students can be exposed to different career options and hear from professionals working in those careers. Field trips to local businesses so students can see the facilities firsthand and learn about the variety of jobs in those industries. And then some job shadowing and internship opportunities that will allow students to really dive in and explore their potential career interests. So recently I've connected with the Madison Chamber of Commerce, which has been extremely helpful. I'll be attending their monthly meeting that's really designated specifically to networking. And I was thankful to receive a very warm welcome from the group at last month's meeting and was already able to connect with some individuals who are really eager to meet up with our students and help out in any way they can. So building a network of industry partners will certainly be an ongoing effort. And if any of you out there would be interested in getting involved with some of our programs, whether you're interested in attending the College and Career Fair next spring or coming to speak to some of our students about your profession, or maybe you'd be interested in hosting a student at your place of business through a shadow day or a long internship opportunity, definitely don't hesitate to get in touch with me. So we're really excited about this opportunity and feel like we have a lot of great things we can offer to our kids.
Great summary, Chrissy. Anyone have any questions while we have Chrissy available before she goes back to working with students? Again, this is a really unique opportunity that we're just starting to develop now. Jan?
I have a question. Sorry, my dog may bark, but
That's okay. like
I
dogs.
noticed that a lot of colleges are coming in over the weeks, and I didn't really understand, do students need to sign up to go meet with the colleges that are coming in, or what can a student expect when they go to meet a college that's visiting hand?
I'm glad you asked that question because we do have a lot of colleges that are coming in and some of the meetings haven't been well attended, but I think this is a phenomenal opportunity for our kids to just sit with an admissions counselor and hear about the universities. So no, students don't need to sign up. They just need to show up at the Career Center to meet with the person who's representing the school. If the student is missing a class, they really need to talk to their teacher in advance just to make arrangements to miss class. But what a student could expect is, depending on the university, it might be a very small group of kids. It might be just one-on-one, or it might be a very large group of kids if it is a particularly popular university. But typically the admissions counselor will give a little rundown just on some highlights of the university, some information about the application process, and then really just direct it to whatever student questions are out there and just whatever the kids are most interested in. The nice thing is that the person who is coming here is typically the person who's in charge of reading the application and sharing the information with the admissions team. So it's a really nice opportunity for our students to make that connection and to demonstrate interest in the university, which I think is really key at a lot of schools.
Great question, Jan, and thank you for the explanation, Chrissy. And we do make announcements throughout the week, so students should know in advance if they're listening of the colleges and the times that they're actually attending. So I would certainly encourage students to attend because they do get to make that personal connection with someone who could have an influence on their admissions.
And I also just want to say, if you want to plan in advance, each counselor has a listing of the colleges that are coming on their Google Classroom page. So if you wanted to take a look at the comprehensive list and just plan out the visit schedule, you can take a look on the classroom page.
Thank you, Chrissy, and Jen, thanks for the question. More to come from our college and career counselor as we move throughout the year. And we're going to transition now to our next agenda item. Corey Rice, one of our teachers in our building. I appreciate you waiting patiently, Corey. Corey, we were lucky to hire from Ohio. He's got a really intriguing and impressive background, which I would call expertise in computer science and chemistry and physics. You know, yes, Corey, it's absolutely expertise. And he came to me with Dawn Fiorelli, our Library Media Center specialist last year. I think, Dawn, you're there, right?
I am there.
Hi,
Yep.
Dawn, we wouldn't leave you. You have to get a shout out. And presented an idea of bringing a fab lab to Daniel Hand High School. And I was like, what are you talking about? What's a fab lab? And I'm always, well, I wouldn't say always. I'm usually open to listening to new ideas. So I certainly sat and listened, and they came up with a really interesting proposal of bringing some advanced technology and some incredible experiences for our students to Daniel Hand. And they got it done in less than 1 year. And they're actually sitting in the new Daniel Hand High School Fab Lab. And we thought we would take a few minutes for Corey and Dawn to share, you know, not only what a Fab Lab is, but what students are doing. It's been a wonderful addition to Daniel Hand High School, and we didn't want parents and guardians to be unaware of what this has to offer. So Corey and Dawn, thanks for your time this morning.
Great, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
So this was really born out of a need from, in particular, the fact that independent project is now a required course in our building. And over the last year, where it moved from kids that signed up and had an idea of what they wanted to do for independent project to everybody having to take it, and not maybe everybody having an idea of what they might want to create or what they might want to work on. And the other piece of it is we have all of these amazing classes. We have an animation class, we have these woodworking classes going on, and then they couldn't actually do it in the library during their independent project class. So that was the beginning of the thinking about it. And my experience in the library world is maker spaces have been around for about 10, 15 years now, and a lot of colleges are adopting them, and a lot of high school libraries are adopting them. And then I just bumped into Corey, who was like, oh, I know a little bit of something about that. And his experience, I'm going to let him talk about his experience, but he really took it from the makerspace idea to a fabrication lab, which is a whole other thing. So go ahead.
Right. I'm, as TJ said, I am a science teacher, but that comes from Ohio. And in my time there, I did a program based out of MIT's Center for Bits and Atoms, the Fab Foundation. I did Fab Academy, which is a training program for all the equipment that we're hopefully going to give you a virtual tour of today. And it was an intensive program to try and connect all of these things together as one cohesive skill set. Because when you have all of the weird tools that we're going to show you in one room, students can integrate ideas and connect thoughts that normally, you know, in a high school, we have a lot of different separate classes. By having them all together, you can get some really interesting creations that come from kids connecting these dots between a 3D printer and a sewing machine and a laser cutter. So there's a ton of different interesting pieces that can come together. And so what we want to do now is do a tour. We've got kind of an ornate setup in the room here. We've got a camera on a cart with a laptop and a microphone. So there might be some technical hiccups as we move around, but we want to show you all of the different areas. So we're going to walk around and point at things. So I'm seated right now in front of our electronics workbench, where students have absolutely been able to start to make their own electronics. And so we have some kids doing projects here or there. This will actually measure where you are away from it. It's a fun little project. And it's become possible in recent years to design and have your own circuit boards made. So to get this made is about $20 and ordered from China, which is really cool that a kid can design their own circuit boards and then have them produced. Then we have all the equipment here that you'd need to solder it up and make your own custom circuit board solutions. Okay, now we're going to be on the move. Let's do the sewing station next. Maybe we can turn around. sewing machines. And so you can see right here, we have a standard sewing machine here on the left. Then we have a serger machine over on the right. Those are two machines that can be used to make all sorts of things. And really you get a nice professional sort of look. I'm going to spin around to a student, Tess, who's sewing a small doll right now. And she worked on the sewing machine to make that happen. So we're almost surprised. I mean, maybe not surprised, but kind of surprised that these are the two machines kids gravitate towards really, really quickly. We didn't expect that to be something that kids would jump towards, but it totally is. They get real excited and want to make all sorts of stuff. Okay, we're on the move again. Sorry, it's a weird little production setup. Over here, we have sort of a display. You can see sort of a normal Promethean board. So this will be fun for people to play with on YouTube. And so we've got all of that, but over here we have a little media production table. And so this one has a whole host of features where we've got over here on the edge, we've got sound inputs. So this will take up to 6 microphones, 6 inputs if we have a small band. This one is for podcasting. It takes 2 inputs. We have these great. We've got MIDI keyboards. So if a kid wants to be musical, they can play on this keyboard and get some sound to come out. We also, a new addition are these touchscreen art tablets. We have 3 of these throughout the room so that kids can play on them. Let's see if we can get it to turn on quickly. But these allow for total touch input. So a kid can use a stylus to just draw on this and have a full touch interactive. It really helps a lot of our here. Got some students working on things. We have 1 Mac that's available if that's your persuasion. It's very helpful. We've got Noah here working on some things for class. But these vertical screen computers off to the right, let's see if we can spin around here a bit more. These are we call these our coding stations, because having a vertical monitor along with your work can make it really helpful. You can see sort of over his shoulder that he's able to do a lot of research. It's very helpful to have a long list of, to be able to see several lines of code at once. And so these are super helpful for those sorts of things. Let's see if we keep going around the room. We've got some more features. We've got 3D printers we're going to head towards. That's some slicing software on screen. Students work on all sorts of stuff. This is, we've got a student, Jack, who's working on building his own RC car. And so he's got some electronics that are laid out over here. This is our 3D printing corner. And so you can see we've got 3D printers humming away here. We've got this stack of 3D printers on a set of shelves. There's a student actually building a 4th one. And so we've got all sorts of things that we can play around with. This, if we get a little closer. No, you're good. It's okay. If we go here, these are, if you've never seen a 3D printer, and so they worked with this design. It was able to 3D print it. And it comes out of this like weird noodly plastic. And the machines heat them up, sort of oozes it out. And then the students can turn that into a thing. And so the one up on top is actively printing. It looks like some wheels for a project. And we've got this one over here that has paused. So there's these things work out. Let's see. If we come over to here, we've got our vinyl cutter. And so this is our vinyl cutter and plotter. We have this tool will take this moving head and it drives around. You can stick a pen in it and then it will draw with a ballpoint pen designs that students can make or find online. So this is a really cool way for it to draw like the New York Jets logo. You can put stickers on all sorts of things. We've been putting stickers on doors and laptops that people bring in or different customizations. but students can take designs or make their own designs. And so we've got like this fun Scooby-Doo crew where a student was able to take the outlines of all of these, and using Adobe Illustrator and some other design software, they're able to take things that they want to make into stickers and do this. It's really great for students to do their work, but also we've been working with lots of teachers who teach math and draw the same triangle 100 times. They really want the same triangle. So there's some really cool applications for all of this for student projects, and then to expand a little bit further. Let's see, keep moving around. Over here, this is our CNC machine. And so let me open up the door to this little machine. Let's pull that example and show it off a little bit. The CNC machine is an interesting addition. They're a little on the tricky side to get started with, but we chose this one because it's very approachable. You saw I needed to open that clear hood. This machine, if you listen to the radio, you've definitely heard people saying, or on ads of, we have lots of CNC machinist jobs in Southern Connecticut. A student could learn this machine, and I have several students working on it for their independent projects. And if a student learned just this skill, but otherwise didn't super love school, which I can't imagine at Daniel Hand, but if a kid wanted to learn this skill, it's a 6-figure salary that a really empowering skill set. We've just gotten to scratch the surface with this, and it's a really neat venue. Another awesome part of a machine like this is that it spins up directly into CTE classes that we have, where students who enjoy this, they can be told like, oh, this is the class you want to take in the CTE department with Mr. Grenier or Mr. Amenta. And so those sorts of connections are really cool natural extensions of what we do here. You're on camera, Sydney. And so here we go. So you can see how she's able to do digital art right there from the touch screen. She's able to draw and show off what it looks like. And then here we go. This is the big ticket item, is our last edition in the tour. This is the laser that we bought. And so this is a laser engraver, laser printer. And I would turn it on, but right now it's actually in the midst. Engrave onto materials like glass. So you can see this glass coaster has the Daniel Hand Tigers logo on it. And then we've also got the ability to etch into metal surfaces. We've got cardboard and wood and all sorts of things that this can etch and engrave. A fun one that we enjoy is that it can engrave. We have a roller, so we can engrave across the surface of a rolled piece of glass, or like on a Hydro Flask. We're able to process with this. This is great for moving a classroom full of kids from an idea to a thing in just a couple of minutes. These happen really quickly. So yeah, we can point it back at me. Yeah, so thank you very much for coming on our virtual tour. And we're excited to show off all of the neat stuff that kids are up to in the space. There's tons and tons of independent projects happening. In every period are using this space, and every one of the students is going to get a few guided tour lessons. Like on the first couple of Fridays, we did a day where students learned how to use the laser and Adobe Illustrator. Then we made stickers the next week, then some 3D design work and electronics. And we're just sort of moving through, making sure that every kid gets exposure to these skills, in addition to they can have a real deep dive if they want to do it for their independent project. So we're excited that all of this is available. New tech that otherwise maybe not everybody would get to see. So it's lots of fun, and thanks for letting us share, TJ.
Corey, great tour. Really appreciate it. I'm going to remove the spotlight. All right, I'm learning, only 2 years into Zoom, I'm learning some features. That's great. But the technology is incredible. You know, Fab Lab is fabrication lab. It's like fabulous lab for the opportunities that our students will have. And I see Chrissy Coyle working very closely with the Fab Lab, and as well as like our CT and other departments. Great experiences for kids. We're trying to get all the kids in there prior to course selections that will come up in January, because like Corey said, there's some really neat opportunities for kids, not only to have a great experience in school, but maybe get a taste of some opportunities for employment when they leave high school, if they're not interested in a college experience, or if they are considering different majors to see what types of opportunities are out there. So I would anticipate, kind of like Christy Coyle, that Mr. Rice and Mrs. Fiorelli will be regular visitors for our PTO meetings with updates and producing some really exciting things in the Fab Lab. So thank you both for your time. The tour was great and certainly a to be continued. All right, so we have a few just pieces of the upcoming agenda that are a review, and we wanted to share. We're going to talk very briefly about our school development plan, and then I have just a few pieces of information. I'll be very close to 9 o'clock, so I appreciate everyone who's able to stay on. When Dr. Cook arrived a couple of years ago, he initiated a school development plan process, and it's a great process. All schools are required to have school improvement plans, and we are working on a 3-year plan. And Mr. Bodner and Mrs. Witcher and I were just going to give you a very brief summary of what this actually looks like at Daniel Hand High School. Each school in our district has their own development plan that aligns directly with the district's plan. And we'll be presenting at a Board of Ed meeting in the near future if you're interested in hearing any more detail. But if you can see from my screen, there are actually 4 categories. You can see the first one that is titled Academics, Rigorous Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. And what we're focusing on over the 3 years is really maximizing professional time for our teachers to look at how our students are performing and identify areas that we need to pay a little more attention to where our students may not be doing as well, and trying to ensure students are successful in any of the pathways they consider to go on at Daniel Hand High School. We're also paying more attention to our accountability measures. That's how we're compared to other schools in the state and in the nation, because that's a piece where, you know, I think Daniel Hand's an excellent school. We want those accountability measures to actually represent the quality of our school system. So there's specific goals within that particular category, but we thought we would give you a summary of each of the areas. The next is positive school climate. Mrs. Butcher.
Thank you, Mr. Salutary. So a couple of things in this area that we're really focusing on. This year, we're working to develop a wellness curriculum, and that curriculum will incorporate support for physical, mental, and emotional well-being for all of our students. Along with that, we're also really focusing on continuing to support a positive school culture. We did that this year by implementing our new advisory program and continuing with our Wellness Wednesday initiative. And the last thing in this area is we're working on revising our school-wide respectful dialogue expectations. This is something that Mr. Bodner is working on with a section of the school faculty, also including some students, just to make that initiative a little bit more relevant for our students. But the main focus for this area is just creating a safe and socially supportive environment for our students in our school climate.
Thank you, Mrs. Butcher. Mr. Bodner is going to talk about staff development under a category titled Talent.
Yeah, so this area, excuse me, of our plan is one where a lot of things are new as well as a continuation of past practices. So some of the things this year that we are going to do to continue to work with our faculty and help them seek the professional development that they desire and to really improve their craft is we're going to be doing instructional rounds at the high school. We're also going to continue our practice of evaluation, calibration, where our coordinators and administration, as well as some teachers who may have an interest of going into administration, go to a teacher's classroom, do an observation, and go back and discuss the nuances of what they observed in the classroom, and also share that with the teacher. And it's something that's been very popular with our faculty, and we're continuing that. We also this year have a math coach at the high school, Justin Kaiser, and he is working with our teachers, in particular working with Algebra 1 teachers and working on implementing an illustrative math program. And that is something that we're working on. In addition, in this area, to provide leadership opportunities for teachers, there's been continued ongoing opportunities for teachers through our NEASC accreditation process. And in a little over a month, NEASC will be here for our Collaborative Friends visit, and that is a role again that has offered a lot of opportunity to our faculty and something that is continuing, as well as there are numerous individuals throughout the building who either have internships, who are seeking advanced degrees, and also teachers that are being supported through our team process, where they are mentored by veteran teachers as they are going through the state process to ensure their continued certification. And some additional things that the district is doing this year is it's also providing specifically training for teachers in special education and our reading instructor, and additional training on how to work and support students. And we, in that process as well, are also taking advantage of the data that is stored in Infinite Campus and the use of data visualizations, which can give teachers really a quick summary of student performance and help them pinpoint areas. So there's plenty that we're doing here to not only continue to develop our staff, but encourage them towards their personal goals.
Thank you, Mr. Bodner. And the last category is called Systems for Student Success. And we're just looking like a broad stroke to improve the work we're doing around students' social, emotional, and academic performance. And we're also looking more specifically if there's particular achievement gaps, within different groups of students, to make sure we're meeting the needs of all students. So this very brief summary plan, our school development plan actually covers 3 years from it starts in the 21 school year, and we'll finalize that particular plan in 2024. The full document is actually 37 to 40 pages long. It will be available on the website after we present to our Board of Education in the near future. I encourage people to look at it, see what we're focused on. And if you have any questions or any input, we'd love to hear it after you review that. So I have a minute to cover 3 topics. I might go a couple of minutes over. Just some updates for what's in the very near future. Next Saturday, October 15th, is homecoming. If you recall, if you had a student in Danohan last year, we did a spring fling because at this time of the year last year, we weren't sure that putting 800 kids in the dining and assembly hall was a great idea, considering the impact of COVID-19. I sent out a memo to the entire school community this past Friday. Tickets are on sale for $20 on Infinite Campus. We're hoping all of the students actually attend, which would be really exciting. We don't make money from this event. Chaperones do get paid a small stipend, not administrator chaperones, but teacher chaperones, and all proceeds go to a great cause. All hand students only are invited. It's a 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. event, semi-formal dress. And one thing, for whatever the reason, this is a history piece, I don't know why, there is a rumor that always goes around that freshman boys are not allowed to attend. That is a complete myth. I don't know where it came from. It's been way before me. We would like every student who's interested in attending to actually attend this event. And if you can just remind your student or students that all school rules apply, our code of conduct applies. We want it to be a really fun and memorable and a positive way event, and we want everyone to get home safely. So that's coming up in a couple of Saturdays. We also, for the first time in probably a long, long time, have parent and guardian conferences scheduled twice this year. The first event is on Wednesday, October 26th. Our students will get out early on that day. We'll have conferences from 12 o'clock to 2:30, and there'll be 15-minute windows, in person only. There's no Zoom option because it's too difficult to manage both. We will be communicating to parents and guardians of students who we think would benefit from a conference within about a week. And then we're going to send out an opening link to anyone who's interested to just sign up with a particular teacher or teachers electronically. We're hoping to have a very busy day on October 26th from 12 to 2:30. And one thing to note, if you have a concern about your child's performance, their emotional well-being, fill in the blank for any of the concerns, please don't wait till October 26th. Reach out to us now. If it's a behavioral situation or other concern, an administrator would be great to reach out to. If mathematics is a challenge right now, reaching out to the math teacher sooner than later or the math coordinator is what we recommend. These are just defined days that we're shutting school down a little early for conferences. That doesn't mean we won't be meeting with parents anytime there's a need to meet with parents and guardians. So hopefully, again, that day should be a really exciting, fun-filled day with a lot of different parents in our building. But please don't wait if you have any concerns. And if you need a Zoom meeting because you work, we'll certainly schedule that around your schedule. It just won't be on October 26th. To ask teachers to manage people in the building and a Zoom on a different schedule is not really fair. We won't avoid a conference. You'll probably get one earlier, but you'll see more information about that topic, that being parent conferences, in the very near future. And we're kind of excited about having, school closed a little early to let parents and guardians in to hear about their children's strengths and weaknesses. Mr. Botter mentioned NEASC. That's a significant process that high schools are required to go through. We started, it's a 10-year cycle. We're basically jumping right into year 1 right now. And we have a visiting committee of 5 educators from anywhere in New England who will be coming to visit our school on November 2nd and 3rd. We've spent the past year and a half preparing a self-reflection report for the NEASC visiting committee. It's called a collaborative conference. The result of that conference, within about 6 months, our school has to create a specific school improvement plan, which will be shared with the entire school community, including parents and guardians, so you can see what our focus will be. And then we'll have what's called a decennial visit. That's the every 10-year visit. It was supposed to happen in 2021, but COVID changed everything. So we'll have our decennial visit in November, 4 days in November of 2024 already scheduled. This is a process that high schools must go through to maintain their accreditation. I'm excited. Our self-reflection report really identifies a few areas of focus, but it also highlights a lot of the really outstanding features of our school, our staff, and our students. So you will be hearing a lot more about that as we move forward. And finally, just 2 dates to mark your calendars. Believe it or not, October 14th is the midpoint of trimester 1. So this year, just like all of them, seems to be flying by. Mr. Bodner will send out the infamous Check Infinite Campus to see where your child's grades are at this current point in time. That's one of the reasons why we have conferences on October 26th, to give parents and students time to reflect on current performance and see if a conference would be beneficial. And just as a reminder, the graduation date has been confirmed. That won't move if there's school cancellations or anything. That is confirmed. You could mark your calendars. We love to have everyone at that event. It's on a Friday, June 16th this year of 2023. So those were all of our agenda items. As I mentioned, I thought it was a pretty full agenda, a lot of great information. I would like to just thank all of our presenters for taking the time this morning, and everyone who attended from our parent and guardian and school community group as well. I will be converting our recording to a YouTube link, and I'll send it out this Friday for anyone who is in attendance and wants to watch it again, feel free. But for a lot of people who want to have access to some particular topics, that's proven to be pretty popular. So I wanted to just say, if anyone has a question, feel free, you can hang on for a moment. If not, I hope everyone has a great day. And again, we're looking forward to some input for other topics you'd like us to consider as we have our monthly meetings. All right, doesn't look like any questions. So thank you again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to end the meeting now.